I spent 10 hours decorating the first 10 seconds of gameplay in my level, and in this video I will review all 10 hours to show you what I was able to get done. So in hour 1, not much would happen. For example, I would just play levels looking for inspiration, like this one level called Dash, which uses the same song as the level that I'm making. And in hour 1, I'd also create a copy of this level called Glorious Fortress. This is because it has the same theme that I want, which is like a nature type of theme with like stuff you'd see in real life. Honestly, that was pretty much it though. I mean, there wasn't much to talk about in hour 1 because nothing really happened. So hour 2 is when I finally started to decorate the level. I started with like adding some simple pulses to the background. Then I added a really neat shader to give the background some proper depth. Then after this I added some outlines to the blocks and I made them like somewhat slanted so it looks like they get bigger the further down they get. Then after this I added some clouds into the background like toward the top and bottom to make it truly look like that we were very high up in the sky, like close to some mountains or something. Then it looked pretty stale, so I randomly selected some and I gave them some move triggers, different move triggers according to the player, and they all moved differently, and I think it looked very clean and very nice. So after this I wanted to add a lot of move triggers to stuff to make the level really feel alive. So I added move triggers to the saw blades and those clouds that you see on the saw blades, just to like bobble up and down basically. Then after this I added some like animations, I guess, to the jump arrows. They move from like left to right, and it looked very clean. It was my first ever time doing something like that. And then eventually the last thing that I did in hour 2 was I added these signs with more arrows on them that would rock back and forth. It just added more life to the level and it made it look like that there was like a strong wind where we were because we were so high up in the sky. And basically that was the end of hour 2. Nothing much happened, and I picked it up the next day. So the next day when I started working on the level again, I worked on some saw blade deco first, and I added these propellers above them to make it look like that they were floating in the sky. Next I started working on probably what was one of my favourite designs I've ever made. It was this wooden structure held up by jets in the sky, and the jets were shooting out fire, and I decided to animate the fire for, you know, whatever reason, but this ended up taking me the rest of the hour. So after this it was up to hour 4. So moving into hour 4, I decided to finally get started on making the proper block design for the main structures. And what I decided to do is I decided to make them look somewhat like some grassy hills. I know we're quite high up in the sky, but come on, it's Geometry Dash, does it really matter? However, I didn't want to copy and paste the same exact block design onto every single structure, otherwise that would just look boring and repetitive. So what I did is I made a second block design for the smaller structures, and they would look like rock pillars coming down from the sky and coming up from the bottom of the ground. So in hour 5 you'll see that I scrapped the idea of the rock structures coming down from the ground and above the sky. However, you'll also see once again later that I re-add them into the level, just because I enhanced them and make them look better. But toward the beginning of hour 5 I added these clouds at the bottom of the screen to make it truly look like we were even higher up in the sky, just to emphasize it even more. Toward the end of hour 5 I then added these little like spheres, I guess, coming up from the clouds even. You know, it was a small design, but in my opinion it added quite a lot actually, and it added more sense of threat. Before the video continues, I just want to make a quick announcement. First of all, I just want to say, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. And the thing I wanted to talk about is that I'm going to be putting all of my subscribers' names into the ending credits of this level. So if you want to be in the end credits of this level, then all you have to do is subscribe. That's literally it. And one more thing I want to say is that this level currently doesn't have a name. I don't know what to call it. So if you want to, you know, potentially make the name of this level, just comment your ideas in the comment section and I'll choose the best idea for next video. Alright, so from now on things are going to slow down a little, because for hour 6 all I really did new was add a waterfall in the background, and I added some like tall structures in the background as well. And other than that, all I was really doing was just polishing block design and polishing glow, just making it all look good. And it's basically the same for hour 7 as well. So after this, I think I'm just gonna skip to hour 8. Hour 8 was spent copy and pasting a lot of structures around the part, and also adding more life to most of the structures that were just standing still. So I added a lot of movement to saw blades, a lot of movement to spikes and some pulses. I made it when you go past a saw blade, it pulses a different color, for example. I made the clouds move, and it was just a lot of more polishing, but it's polishing that's worth talking about, because it made the level spectacularly better. This is like a 2-in-1, because I basically just did the same stuff for hour 9 and 10. Hour 9 was spent adding particles into the levels, just on like propellers and from the bottom of the screen, top of the screen, and flying past the screen, to make it look like there was some type of wind since we were so high up, or maybe some sort of debris flying past the screen. Hour 10 was just spent copy and pasting structures across the whole entire part, adding more glow and fixing up colors and just polishing the whole entire level. That was basically it. I got nothing much to say, and enjoy the showcase. The level's still not done yet. I am planning on adding a part 2, maybe even a part 3, and I want to extend the layout to maybe 2 minutes or more. So without further ado, I'll get into the final showcase, part 1 of this series.